you kind of want to focus on what or on the what
Yeah.
I posted, or
Yeah. The Jeffrey, that's the hot topic now. And I
yeah,
just wanted your views and to hear what your guides are telling you.
cool.
Hello all. Good evening. And tonight I'm back with someone who you have not seen on my show in a while, but who has been on several times in the past. And this morning, right before I started my meditation, her video popped up and I was encouraged to reach out to her. And believe it or not, it was tonight or wait 3 weeks. So we were able to connect the dots and make it happen. And so straight home from work, here we are. And welcome back, Heather.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back. It's been so long.
I know it's, you know what? It feels like forever. I think it's over 1 year, and I can't even believe a year has gone by. So is it a year or more?
I can't remember. I feel like it's at least a year, but time is moving fast. It's actually predicted that in the end times it will be moving fast. So it's not just an illusion. It really is moving faster.
Well, there is so much going on in the world, and I almost start every video with the same sentence. But it is true. There's so much going on in the world. And the problem, most of us as journalists and those who cover the changes in the world, the problem we have is not only is a lot of it happening, but when you rely on the mainstream media or the various news sources, you never know if what you're hearing is true. Oftentimes, mainstream, it is not. And personally, I believe we get the truth from our guides because they are not part of this matrix, or some people call it this reality, which is not really real. We've been lied to our entire lives. We've been saying this for years. And now, with the Jeffrey Epstein Files released, all the drip, drip, drip is not drip, drip, drip. It's just gushing out. And if you've been watching, you will notice a lot of what you were hearing from us. Go back and watch the videos. They're on my website. It's exactly what is being revealed in those files and a lot more. We gave you the soft version because at that time, I didn't want to believe it, although I know my sources had checked out. And so tonight, I know I just had Eric on, and Eric and I talked about this, but this is so huge and so vast that tonight I thought we could have Heather on because she channels this information from her guides. And they're reliable because she's been on the show before and what they've said has happened. So, welcome back in the capacity of please start channeling for us whatever we are meant to hear. As everyone knows, I always say I don't like to ask questions. I have conversations with people, and we sort of go with the flow. And so, Heather, I don't know where your guides want us to begin, but the question a lot of people have been asking, including myself, why are these files suddenly released when earlier this year the same government who has released them told us they did not exist? And now they exist. And the pages are out there, apparently easily accessible by anyone really looking for it. So I don't know if you have an answer for us.
Let's see. I haven't asked that, but first, what I'll say is when I channel, I've channeled for people all over the world, and when I channel for them, what comes through is very high level. It doesn't come through in human terms. The information doesn't come through in a political bias or religious bias. It's neutral and it's love based, and it's high level. There's never any sides. And the way they explain things sometimes can trigger people because it feels like it's neutral, which it is neutral, but they explain it from a perspective of the higher realms where really there is no good or bad outside of this. So what they've told me is that my role here in having this gift is to, some people, when they channel, the beings are speaking through them, like Mel, and they give me the information, and my human is translating it as best as I can to make it as tangible as possible. So I'm basically the translator making it human. So I take the neutral information, and then sometimes I put my human spin, of course, but they don't look at things as good or bad. They look at things as, without the dark, there wouldn't be light, and vice versa. So as I explain things, as things come through, I just want you to, to keep that in mind. It's, there's never any sides. Okay. But that's a good question I haven't asked yet. I'm off social media for a while, and my guides told me it's time to come back on because of the list. And it's not because of the list necessarily, but because of where we're at and where we're going and what's coming. They've asked me to come back on and start sharing. So yesterday I did like a long channeling session, and I'm starting to put little bits and pieces out on social media of what's really going on, so people can digest it in their own time. But that is a question I haven't asked yet. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to plug in and just see what they say about why now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so they're focusing on, there's two. Okay, hold on. I have a follow-up question. Just a second. Interesting. Okay, so it's like two in a sub point. Okay, so the first thing they just showed me is that humanity's ready. And what that means is, I'm gonna share in the human perspective. So, I see a lot of this when I do go on social media. I've been off for a while, but I see this a lot of people talk about when can we stop paying bills? When can we stop giving our taxes to corrupt governments and stuff like that? The people they've had enough. What that means is there is an awakening happening, as we know, right? It's this worldwide. There's a worldwide awakening, and I will say, okay, they're clarifying this. Where we live is just one portion of this realm. We haven't been told about the other portions. Go down the Antarctica rabbit hole if you want to. But so in this portion of this world, people are starting to wake up, and it's been prophesied that this would happen. This is an unprecedented time in human history, they're saying. So as humanity is pushing, even the people that are asleep, which is the majority of the population, they're pushing more for better care, right? They're pushing more for reform. That's the word they just used. And so things are starting to bubble up, they're saying, as humanity is waking up and wanting change, even though they don't know what that is yet. As above, so below, as within, so without. We are, truth is bubbling to the surface as a result of humanity's desire, of humanity awakening. So part of the reason why this is coming out now is because of timing around humanity's desire, humanity's awakening. And another part of it is they've been drip campaigning some of this stuff. Like, you remember P. Diddy, which I've channeled I channeled him several years ago before all this came out. They've kind of drip campaigned it. This big dump, I guess I would call it, is because of what I just shared, right? And then the second piece that they're showing, which that was kind of part one and part two, the second piece that they're showing here is there is something going on, and I'm not an astrologer, so I don't understand, but there is something going on astrologically. There's something going on with the timing. They're saying right now that these people, some people call it white hats, the people that are trying to support humanity, and not just people, by the way, they're non-humans as well. And also you would call it the dark side. My human would call it the dark side. They work with magic all the time. Kind of what you're seeing, or what is in the files. They don't really, I don't know. I don't think they explain it in this way, but your reading. Hopefully you don't go read those because it's incredibly terrifying and horrendous. But what they're explaining is rituals, and they're explaining how they're using magic in a horrifying way for humanity, right? So they know how to work with, they just said equinoxes. I don't know what that means. They know how to work with the sun and the moon and the stars and different astrological placements. And so there's some significance right now with planetary placements, they just said, about why they're releasing it. And there are more than two sides, but I'll explain it in two sides. They did show me a little bit of this yesterday, and they're reminding me. So we've got the quote unquote dark side and then the light side, right? And so the light side is looking to use planetary placements for good. They want this to push humanity over the edge, to claim sovereignty, to seek power within, to start making different choices to create the reality that we want. It's we're the ones that create this reality, right? So as we see what they've been doing here for eons, we have a choice. And so the light is using this timing strategically to help humanity empower themselves more. However, the dark is also using the timing in a dark, ritualistic way to, the goal is to put us into a trauma state. The goal is to put us into a state of freeze so that we just keep going to work. We just keep doing the things that we're told to do because we don't know what else to do. Who's going to stop this? Who's going to fix this, right? So they're looking at the planetary placements as a good time to let this out for negative reasons. So it's up to us to decide that to use this powerful time, this astrological time, to use the list or the files. Again, I'm not recommending reading them. Use the point of the list, which I've talked in my videos about on my channel, on my TikTok and YouTube. Use it to start making different choices in your life. I'm going to actually lead a live meditation on Sunday to guide people to connect to their higher self, to download information from your higher self about what to do, because it's going to be different from everyone. Is how do we start removing our energy, time, energy, money, etc., money's energy, from the systems and structures that have been held up by this ritualistic, horrifying stuff. How do we start removing ourselves from those systems? And that's kind of the light's purpose of allowing these and pushing these documents out during this time. I hope this makes sense.
Well, Heather, how can someone watching this show, because I'll put the video up before Sunday, is anyone and everyone invited to join? Because I'd like to be on that meditation. Could you tell them how they could find the meditation, or could you send me a link and I could post it or something like that?
Yeah, so it's through TikTok, and when you go on TikTok, I had to create the live event, and all the videos going forward are going to have the notice that says join live, and then you can register there. So if you go to my TikTok account, it's Crystal, CRYSTAL .Claire, CLAIR .channel, CHANNEL, crystal.claire.channel. You can register through my account by going to my profile or on one of the videos, and then it'll populate on your calendar. You can also come on TikTok at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday, February 22nd. Go to my account and it will show that I'm live. So I'm going to go on live for about 50 minutes because I have a community call right after that. And my guides told me today, that's what they said. They said, I'm going to be making videos about what to do, but they said, what we need to do is to guide them in real time to connect to their higher self. And I've made masterclass immersions on how to do this, but they said now is the time. And they just said right now, part of it is because of this energetic portal that's shifting or opening right now. So whoever joins is going to be taking advantage of that moment in time to connect to their higher self, which is a very powerful moment, I guess.
And this is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Pacific?
It's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to make sure to join, and hopefully others will too. So thank you for clarifying that, Heather. It may be a little bit confusing for some people, but then they could just keep listening, replaying it until it's clear. But one of the things that I've been noticing, and it makes me so happy, is, like I said on my previous video, 80% of the people awake are young people. Like some teenagers, like some people in their 20s and their 30s. And the majority of them are on here, like calling others NPCs, appealing to people to wake up. They don't have a lot of diplomacy when it comes to this. They're like, you could hear their frustration, like, how could you not see this? And I share in that frustration because I don't understand. I was an NPC at some point. I didn't understand any of this, didn't know any of this. So I'm not judging people who still can't see, but the frustration that I'm seeing in the young people, I just wish I could go hug them and tell them just be a little patient, and also not everyone will wake up.
Right. So, I mean, this is another big topic that I've done. I've channeled this quite a bit. And what my guides have shown me is that they're guiding me here because there's so much to say about this. So I'm just going to try to make it short. What they've shown me is that there are so many advanced souls coming in here. In fact, I've channeled for a handful of people. There's two specifically I can remember. I was nudged to reach out to them on TikTok, and I ended up channeling for them. And these two specific people, I was shown that they were here during one of humanity's beginnings, I don't know if it was the original beginning or after some catastrophic event that took out humanity. I don't know, but they came in the form of other beings to help humanity rebuild. And they've decided to incarnate into the human avatar this time to help humanity, because the only way to change this is from inside out. It's not going to be from aliens. It's clearly not going to be from our politicians. Now we can see this, right? They are wanting this. This is what they're doing rituals to continue, right? We're participating in that with our energy, allowing them to harvest our energy, and staying low vibe. But there are so many advanced souls coming in here. You could call them volunteers, to support humanity. But the challenge is that these systems and structures that I talk a lot about on my TikTok account, the 4 pillars of control and the glue that holds it together, were created to, what they're showing me is a net to capture these star seeds, to force them in the education system, for one, politics, religion, media, all the brainwashing stuff, to make them forget why they're here. So there's been this thought, and I was one of the kids, and I see a lot of people commenting on videos saying, I've always thought that I was here for something, but I didn't know what it was. So there are the souls, what they've shown me is 20 and under, even 30 and under. We're being flooded with these ascended, we call them star seeds, to be able to hold more light here so we can shift the consciousness of the planet. So what we're seeing in the 3D of these younger people, calling people NPC robots, part of it's a fad, part of it is they're using terminology, in terminology, but it's actually coming from a place of remembrance, even though they might not cognitively remember. There's a lot of people, that are showing me a few right now. There's a lot of people who don't speak that way. There's a lot of people who, my husband's one of them, who also doesn't vote, who also believes it's all crap, but he doesn't talk about it. He just lives his life. And he's somebody who you wouldn't call him spiritually awake, but he's holding the light through his actions. So we're seeing that happening in the 3D because of the influx of these star seeds. In fact, I think the video I'm uploading tomorrow, the third part of this E-list episode or a series, is they showed me one of the reasons why they created the GATE program and the TAG program, which I was in, was to capture these star seeds and try to hijack their mission. And they're referencing Project Looking Glass right now. So the powers that were, you can go do research on the Project Looking Glass. They have been able to look into the future, right? And time is an illusion, and time is actually a spiral. Not going to get into that, it's too complicated, but they looked in the future and saw all of these star seeds coming in. So how do we capture them? How do we capture them and put them in the program, in the brainwash program? That's what these programs are for. They're telling me, I just learned this yesterday. So yes, we're seeing all these young people stand up and they just said revolt. Now, the other thing I'll add, the last thing I'll add to this is, they've shown me this a ton. I don't personally know anyone with autism or who's on the spectrum, but they've shown me that countless souls have come in here and chosen to be on this spectrum, specifically autistic, Asperger, and Down syndrome as well. Now, did they become on the spectrum from something in the 3D? Many times, yes, but they chose this before they came in, because when you're on the spectrum, you're unable to, the more heavily you are on the spectrum, like nonverbal, the less you're able to be indoctrinated with the programming. You can regurgitate things that are, you can memorize, but you can't be manipulated to go to a job just to make money to pay bills. That's not, you can't brainwash these people. So there is a ton of starseeds coming in into young people, autistic, Asperger, Down syndrome people who are here to hold the light and show us what's not working. So as they're resisting school and the systems like medicate them, force them to regurgitate, force them to pay attention, force them to sit for 8 hours a day, as they're rejecting this, it's up to us as society to say, listen to them. They're here to change how we do things. They're actually here to help us create new earth. That's why we're here. That's why we came here to do this. And so we're here to stop the current movement of where we've been going as society and start creating something new by removing our energy, time, and money, because money's energy, from the systems and structures of control and move them into creating something new on our own. And it starts small with grassroots. In the Epstein list, the Epstein Files, the Epstein documents, from a light perspective versus dark, is here to help push us into doing that. It's what they're showing me is like a cow prod. It's meant to cow prod us, like, enough already. Make different choices, right? We've been talking about making different choices for years. I've been channeling for a long time, but many people haven't done it yet. This is meant to be the prod to get people to do that. So we've got a lot of help. We've got a lot of star seeds here in young avatar bodies to help us with this, to show us what's not working.
Well, the
Super cool.
problem is, though, Heather, because when you were on my show previously, we talked about who owns the education system, who runs all the systems. And what we're seeing now is they've already lost. But when have you ever seen a bully say, "Oh, you beat me up and you won, I'm going home," pick up their boots and their stuff and go peacefully? No. They know their time is up. And what they're doing is they're retaliating 10 times the way they were before because they do not want to relinquish control. So what you're finding is a lot of young starseeds who've been vocal, they are now winding up dead. They're committing suicide. They are dying mysterious deaths, and it's sort of, if you add one on one, it's clearly someone is taking these people out. Because every time you look at one of them who've committed suicide, in some previous video, they say, "I will never commit suicide." Yet they end up dying of suicide. So the point I'm trying to make is they have come down here for this mission. And as you know, based on what you said earlier, they know which of us are coming here to do what's happening now. So they've tried everything they can to stop us, and they had the control, and they designed all the systems. So people like you and even I was born for this. I know it because never fit in and all the stuff that's happening now. It's finally adding up why I had the experiences I had, did and said, and questioned the things I did. So my point is, what is going to happen now? We're hearing the light as one, but we still see people who are speaking up, being silenced. Either they're being banned from the platforms where they're speaking out, or they're being taken out. So how are we going to get past that hump?
Well, before I speak, let me channel and see what they want me to say. But, okay, all right. They're like, before you even continue, let me just see how they want me to respond. Because this is, part of this topic, part of your question about people taking their life. That's a very sensitive topic, right? And that's a whole episode on its own.
Right.
And I can only share what I've channeled so far,
Okay,
right, about
okay.
that. And whatever they want to show me right now. So let me just see.
Okay.
Uh, all right, let me see. It's very multi-layered. It always is multi-layered. This is one of the main things I've learned from channeling so much the last 6 years or so. It's not black or white, and it's never just one answer. It's multi-layered. And every question could have like 3 hours. You know what? I don't know. Yeah, I've channeled for you. Sometimes I'll channel for people, and it'll be a 3 hour session, and we're still not. I mean, it's still tons of information coming in. So that being said, what they showed me is that um, the people who are leaving the planet now. Okay, great. I'm like, I don't know how to say this. They're saying start with this. So I have quite a few clients who have children that struggle with addiction. And several of them have lost their children or family members, but we'll talk about the children to addiction. And when I've channeled for these people, these children are star seeds. They are advanced. They don't understand the world. They don't understand why they don't fit in. And they have a hard time connecting. And I've been able to channel for a couple of them and help them make sense of their experiences in their life. And it's helped them in their life to start making different choices. But when you come into this environment in the last 10, 20, especially years, I would say it's very dense, it's very dark. And it can be tough. Okay. So a lot of times people turn to substances. What that does is it disconnects you from, it kind of numbs you and disconnects you from your gifts. A lot of these starseeds are telepathic. They have really, really strong gifts, and they don't understand it. No one's telling them about it. They don't realize that they're different than other people or stronger, gifted as children, as other people. And so they do turn to things like that. So what they're saying though is that nothing goes wasted. A lot of these star seeds come in, and you know, and every situation is unique. So we're generalizing here, but these young people, these star seeds, come in, and even the ones who leave the planet are making a difference. They're still holding more light in their body. Their experience in their life, you know, whatever happened towards the end of their life, it's something that's impacting people. And again, they're showing me the cow prod again. It's prodding people to do something different. It's prodding them to make different choices, right? So nothing goes wasted. No experience and no life goes wasted. They're saying that when I asked them about getting over the hump, they're showing me we are moving over the hump, and a lot of what I just talked about, these starseeds children who are struggling, rejecting school, or maybe even you know, who feel like they need to take their life. They're saying that's a very small, very, very minute percentage. So we don't want to blow it up bigger than it is. A very minute percentage, but they're helping to push us over the hump through exposing what's not working. In fact, they're reminding me now, there's many people in my community who have family or children that struggle with addiction. And
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I think you misunderstood the question.
Okay.
Can I rephrase the question? These kids haven't committed suicide. They were taken out and labeled with suicide.
Well, you mentioned suicide. You said
suicide.
I
know. So I think that's what threw you off. No, what I'm trying to say is, and I know because I've been faithfully following some of these kids, and they've been bringing a lot of truth forward. And they say regularly, I am happy. I am not unhappy with my life. I will never commit suicide. And then one day you hear they commit suicide, and it's clear they were taken out. So my question is, if speaking up is causing people to lose their lives, because I followed a lot of them, and then one day they're just gone, and we hear that they committed suicide. So my question is, if this is happening, it's scaring some people from speaking or doing what they're here to do. And I think a big part of what we're all here to do, correct me if I'm wrong, is to help to wake up others who still haven't seen what we have seen. Because based on what I'm learning from other people that I follow, spiritual teachers, is we gain power the more people wake up. They're waiting on humanity to wake up, because if we wake up in larger numbers, then it helps us to eliminate the system that was abusing us.
we gain momentum is
Right.
what you
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
but the answer is the same. So the answer is the same. These
Okay.
people, some of them, some of the mainstream ones are not actually gone. Okay, and I've channeled this before. Some of the people that we've followed, I don't know what's wrong with my camera. Sorry, it's very blurry, but some of the people that we, used to love in Hollywood who are not here anymore, they actually are still here. So, but if we're talking about regular people that are not part of the program, then they're saying the answer is the same. These souls have come in knowing that how they live their life, sharing truth, etc., is going to give humanity more cow prodding, right, to make different choices. So it's they're saying that's why they mentioned the word revolt. Humanity is saying this is enough. It's enough, right? So there our lives are finite. Our human life is finite. Our soul lives on forever. The souls of these people who are, you mentioned, taken out, for those that are actually taken out, and anyone leaves this human body,
To silence them. It's the silencer.
Well, in the 3D, yes. In the 3D, of course, that's what it is. However, they're saying right now it backfires because all it does is it wakes more people up. So these are soul contracts.
Got it.
These are soul contracts that these beautiful starseeds have taken on to say, I could be taken out. And I'm not scared of death anymore. So I used to be, but now I know how things work. And so I could be taken out as well. I'm not going to stay quiet. You know my story from corporate America. I won't stay quiet. I'm going to keep sharing truth. And that's how these people that you're referring to are also feeling, or also being driven by something bigger than themselves from their soul contracts, I would say. And the sacrifices that they've made are only waking more people up, right? So before all this stuff was happening, we'll say 50, 100 years ago, before mass media was showing all of this stuff, the awakening was much slower. Now that we have access to see more of this stuff, more stories, more people's tragedies, it's spurring more people awake. It's part of the design of what these souls have signed up to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I get that. Okay, thank you